This is really an interesting, I don't know that it comes under the JP, but it certainly comes under local officials, and so I'd be interested in your opinion on this. Do you believe governmental entities, it's a two-part question, should exercise eminent domain to transfer property ownership from one private party to another private party for the purpose of profit or to enhance tax revenues? And then secondly, when, if ever, do you believe it is justified for government entities to exercise eminent domain to transfer property from private to government, such as public uses such as roads? So that's really two different questions, okay? Let me read that second part again. When, if ever, do you believe it is justified for governmental entities to exercise eminent domain to transfer property, which I would assume means purchase it, from a private property to the government for public uses such as roads? So the first one was for raised tax revenues. The second one was for public uses.
Well, in the first question, I think it never should be in the position where it exercises eminent domain for the purpose of raising taxes. That's not a governmental function, in my opinion. In the second approach is that government must retain the opportunity for exercising eminent domain when it becomes necessary for the public good and necessary for public issues such as roadways and things of that nature. But again, only with adequate, proper compensation as allowed under the Constitution of the United States.
Great, thanks. Tom?
Law is a little bit muddled on the eminent domain for private purposes, and there are some cases that are recommended under case law where that has occurred, and we are bound as judges to follow law. In my personal opinion, I don't believe it's proper for someone to take private property and move it to another private entity for private use. I just don't believe that's proper at all. Now, to take eminent domain for roads makes a lot of sense. There's other public purposes that are recommended and recognized where taking public property for the true public good, and roads certainly qualify. And so we have a whole condemnation process that we go through to make sure that private owners are adequately compensated for the taking of that land and property and even certain rights. I actually served as a special condemnation commissioner in Denton County on one of those such cases where there was a disagreement between TxDOT and the private owner over the value of what TxDOT was going to take. And that was a very good process, and I think both TxDOT and the owner were satisfied at the end that there was an adequate judgment rendered.